Oh yes, Final Burst is back. Or is it? This video is sponsored by Phoenix Pharos cards. If you need supplies of singles or splits for Cardfight Vanguard, especially the ones in the video, do check out Phoenix Pharos cards today, and as a bonus, use the promo code MetaNerd to get an amazing 5% discount. And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the MetaNerd channel. I am Marcus, bringing you another video for Cardfight Vanguard Willdress. In this video, we'll be talking about the 2 cards that was revealed on the Tuesday stream. Only 2, but it is quite game changing for the current Vehemence Bruce, and we actually have a lot to talk about despite only revealing 2, because you know it is my main deck and I've been playtesting the deck ever since the support was revealed. I am actually extremely tired from all the deck building as well as playtesting. It's a torture, but in any case, it is my favorite deck out of all of these standard, and I'm determined to make it work, although Bruce is actually quite limited to the quality of support that it gets. But despite that fact, the 2 cards that was revealed for Bruce actually does take a punch. Let's get into it. First off, we have Diabolos Tailbacker Derek. Auto Rigor Circle. When you final rush, this unit gets continuous Rigor Circle. During the turn this unit boosted, when your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. And power plus 5k until the end of turn. At the end of that turn, retire this unit. This ability is mandatory. So not only do we have Batadori King Greedon, we now have a Batadori skill within Bruce. Whether or not that's good, I don't know, but I'm gonna take this card as a win, I would say. He is a 30-game booster, while also give Batadori for anyone, including the Vanguard, but most of the time you will want to just boost the rearguard with him instead of the Vanguard, because Vanguard does not really do much except restanding rearguard. It basically forces more cards from your hand if your opponent decide to basically just take the damage. If your opponent decide to actually hand guard whatever this unit is boosting, together with a 10k attacker that's an 18k, normally the opponent will just throw a 5k or 1 card in order to fully guard that column, but thanks to this card skill, it basically denies that. The mandatory retire does hurts this card just a little bit, which means that you have quite limited use because you can't really like superior call from the drop zone or recycle this card. So be very smart in terms of using this guy, otherwise you might just run out of Derek very fast. But even one of this guy on the field is just detrimental to the opponent, because not only does it requires the opponent to throw down an extra hand for PGs, it basically just makes one of your smaller columns to be very threatening. And of course, we do not have any way to recycle this card at the moment, so it's a little bit sad, but we're just gonna have to wait for more support. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 more that is going to be revealed in the daily card of the day, but I'm not too sure. It would be really nice if they introduce like another card for us to kind of recycle stuff just to conserve the hand size, because at this moment there's not a lot of cards for Bruce to actually farm hand size. One more thing is that this card is not really that usable in grade 4 and Violence Bruce due to the timing of this unit's skill, because it says when you final rush. If you do not call this card the previous turn, it means that this card is not gonna get the skill. Vehemence Bruce activates final rush in the battle phase, but Violence Bruce as well as Unrivaled Bruce, they activate final rush in the beginning of their right phase. So this card will not get any skill if you don't call it the previous turn. That's basically it. Nice balancing, but of course this card does leave something to be desired. So for the pairing choices between an attacker and this card, we actually do have quite a bit of attackers at the moment for Bruce, and with this card being introduced, the whole column is very disgusting. Well, depends on who the attacker is. These are all the attackers that are hitting for really huge numbers and would sometimes require like a PG to fully guard that 1 column attack. Derek here basically just increased that hand size to another 1, which is going to be really stupid. Eden, without a doubt, going to be the best one to be paired, since you know Eden has a crit upon restand and does have a on-hit effect. Eden might possibly be the one that is benefiting from Derek more than the other attacker. Migon is basically just a huge bit stick, so enough said. Patrick is forcing 2 rearguards to the Guardian Circle, which will then sometimes force the opponent to hand guard. Patrick and Derek forms a 23k column or a 33k column, depends if you're in Final Rush or Final Burst. burst. Even if you are forcing like 2 5k shield to intercept, the opponent will still need to throw more. They could no guard Patrick. That's an option. It's an interesting choice. Jared is the oldest attacker that we have. Jared has the skill to prevent the opponent from intercept. In combination with Derek, the opponent is forced to only hand guard from their hand, which means that if they decide to guard this attack, they are gonna throw down two cards or more, depending on how huge Jared as well as Derek's column will be. Leonard is actually not bad in terms of, you know, forcing the opponent to throw down even more hand, because if the opponent wants to guard one column against Leonard, they have to throw down 2 cards each for whatever Leonard is hitting, be it the Vanguard or the rearguard behind. Very nice combination, but currently Leonard does not bring enough value to be run in the deck just yet. But as for the rest, I think they are pretty much really good for Derek to be boosting. And of course, the new grade 2 that was introduced alongside Derek is going to be the partner in crime for both of these cards. And that card is this guy here, Diabolos Rapid Carrier Geno. Auto front row rearguard circle. When your Vanguard attacks, if you are in final burst, cost Soul Blast 2. For every 2 cards in your damage zone, choose one of your rearguards in the same column as this unit and stand it. If you stand 2 units, they get 5k power until the end of turn. Second skill, auto front row rearguard circle. At the end of your turn, if you are in final rush, cost, put this unit into your soul, choose one normal unit from your soul and you may put it into your hand. So a 5th attack enabler that doesn't cost a counter blast. Who doesn't want a 5 attack deck? Not only does this card enables a 5th attack for Bruce, this guy do help out whenever you're run out of counter blast, since this guy is using 2 soul blasts at the moment. Since it is using 2 soul, which basically still lets you make a minimum of 4 attack, provided if you have enough soul. The power of this guy is gonna be on the smaller side because he doesn't really gain any power on attack. But of course, together with Derek, the previous grade 1, that whole column is gonna hit for 23k, which will normally requires the opponent to throw down a 15k shield, just 1 card. But thanks to Derek's skill, the opponent has to throw down 2 cards instead. Very neat combination, if I do say so myself. Of course, this card is going to be at full power once you are at 4 damage. He's kind of like the late game pusher as well as cost saver, if that makes sense. The whole column basically ranges from 23k to 43k, depends on if you are able to personal right as well after restand, as well as the Batadori effect on top of that. It's a very nice card. The second skill I think is probably the best selling point of this card. I mean, the first skill is really good by itself already, but the second skill makes this card even better. The reason why I say this is that you are able to recycle any unit from the soul, I mean normal unit from the soul. You are able to recycle your personal right, your perfect guard, Jamil, and I put here Jammy, but yeah, that's a typo, as well as himself. What this means is that if you are going first, you are able to kind of rush during your turn 3, because before these 2 cards, Vehemence Bruce turn 3 is really weak because a lot of their stuff are locked behind final burst. But thanks to this guy here, the second skill is only locked to final rush, which means that if you have 2 Geno in your hand, you are able to just call down 2 Geno to attack the opponent at grade 2. It's a 5k guard still, but you know, you don't lose anything. At the end of that turn, you just put 1 Geno to soul and get whatever is in your soul, and the other one goes to soul as well to get him back. So you technically do not lose anything, which is definitely going to be stupid on the first grade 3 turn while going first, that is. If you're going second, of course, you just do your basic combo, which is having like 1 column Geno and the other column can be a Jamil or Julian, depends on how you set up. Now, since this guy goes to soul, one other thing is that you don't necessarily have to choose another card to be put to hand. You can just put Geno into the soul and that's it. You don't have to take himself back to hand, and you don't have to like take anything from the soul. By doing this, you're able to give yourself more than enough soul for maybe 3 turns of Geno. Depends if you keep personal writing or not. That's since this guy is in the soul, you are able to basically recall him out by using Jamil's skill as well as Julian for more sustainability as well as defense. I mean, basically Geno as well as Jamil, they are basically like an interlude, provided if you have counter blast, because Geno is able to fetch Jamil that maybe got dropped into the soul back to hand, and then you can just call Jamil out the next turn to counter blast 1 to call back the Geno, which is super nice. And on top of that, Jamil himself is a 10k shield, so you do the math. It's a very nice combo to have, but of course the whole shenanigans do cost 1 counter blast, which isn't abundance in the current Vehemence Bruce deck. So this is an insane grade 2 and he's a double R. Yeah, I'm not gonna complain. This card Vanguard by itself is super good. I am very happy they are giving this kind of attention to detail, but of course I am still hoping for like 1 or 2 more Diabolos support, because at the moment they are doing wonders already, but I would like just a little bit more, just so that I have more things to play with than, you know, these guys over here. They are really good, it's just that not to the level that I am hoping just yet. So for the attack formation that you probably will want, the first 2 cards that you will want to have is going to be Geno as well as Jamil. Previously mentioned, these 2 cards are just really good. Jamil is a 20k attacker by itself without any personal riding as well as trigger. If you're in final burst, definitely nice. Together with a 13k booster, he himself is a 33k attacker. Disgusting. For Geno, like I said, Geno is just disgusting. Restander by itself. Soul Blast 2 doesn't really cost a counter blast. Very disgusting. And it does allows you to basically save 1 counter blast on Bruce to be used for other skills. The secondary attacker that you can have in your deck is also, of course, Julian, because Julian do helps you build the board as well as giving you soul. You don't necessarily have to call anything from the soul charge, but of course it's preferably you call something, depends on how your board looks like. Both Julian as well as Jamil do function the same way. It's just that Jamil is a 10k shield, which makes him a little bit better than Julian, while Julian is able to provide you with 2 soul, which will then fuel Geno's skill. So both of these are pretty much doing the same thing, just that they are helping Geno differently, I would say. But yeah, for other attackers that you may want to consider is of course Leonard. Leonard hits a column and then gives you more soul. Yeah, I mean, pretty much self-explanatory. And lastly, of course, the one attacker that did previously mention and could potentially prove to be quite useful is going to be Jared. The nice any intercept could potentially cripple Eva, but then again, Jared provides intercept block only for himself, so the Eva player can just intercept some other attacks. But of course, with Jared as well as Derek, the whole column will basically just force out more cards. It's a very nice skill. There are other grade 2s that could potentially be useful, for example Patrick as well as Eden, but for now I don't think they provide enough utility for you to actually do your stuff first before you even cripple the opponent. For grade 1s, of course, is the usual grade 1s that we see so far. Derek, for sure, he's going to be run because he just helps the smaller columns, which is just great. Mabel is kind of optional. It's up to you, because once again, Mabel is like in that very weird spot because, you know, Elementaria Sanctitude exists, but the triple drive in this deck makes the center column very threatening. Otherwise, it will just be your Vanguard swinging for twin drive. That's it. He's not going to be as big as your rearguard. Stephanie, of course, most of you will say it's kind of overrated due to how many board control decks that we have currently, but think of it this way. If the opponent wants to retire something, they have to target Stephanie first in order to better let their stuff attack hit. So it's kind of a roundabout way of saying, yeah, play this to protect your other rearguards, but still, a right line with multiple board control skills will just eat you alive. So it's up to you. You can choose to play Trish instead of Stephanie, but I think Stephanie does have her uses in certain matchups that do not really have board control. Heidi is the new grade 1 that is basically an 18k booster on the second swing, but from my experience, Heidi doesn't really do a lot because your columns are hitting like a truck already. That extra 5k doesn't really matter as much, but of course it is an option. You can run this card here just to make your column even slightly bigger, but I don't think she's that useful. I rather get something that provides power as well as some defensive capabilities, I would say. For example, Stephanie here. And that is all for this video. Do let me know down in the comment section of what you think of Bruce support as an overall. Only 2 cards that was introduced, and it actually makes a big impact in terms of how Bruce is played as well as the strategy surrounding Bruce. Do like and subscribe if you like this video, and of course during the bell notification icon so that you don't miss a video I upload. With that being said, I'll see you all on the field.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.